IndyCars. These are 700 horsepower beasts that move quickly and look really nice. These are the IR12s, of course. If you don't mind me just muting everything. Okay, so lovely cars. Yes, if you don't mind me, I will take a short 2-minute break before the race starts. Okay, so we are racing as IndyCar roval. Because we have 2 engines in here. Racing at home, sadly, his place it bended not too long ago. That has sadly put him out of the count at the current moment. So we have our points leader going to extend his lead if he does finish. Currently we have 11 drivers in the lobby. Alan KV joins in another time as he had time and he wanted to race. Though it is possible that he may disconnect in the middle, but we may never know. The Texas road course, it says turns 4. That was can be debated. There's effectively 4 turns. You have the turn 1, turn 2, well, turn 1 is the banking, turn 2 is a hairpin going off the banking, turn 3 another hairpin, then there's a short chicane, turn 4 another hairpin, and turn 5 a 4th hairpin onto the turn 6, which is just the banking. I will count it as it is. Now, there, and there. That's where we go. Okay, so we have a few drivers here looking to make moves as Motor City heads out of the pit lane. Motor City here, first driver out. By the looks of things, yes indeed, followed closely by Alan Cavey. So we will probably see a shaky grid here, as it has proven. We will see probably qualifying times approaching the 104s. There was a practice session, but I only saw race laps, and those were 105s at the best of times. So as we go on to the bonnet cam here, or onboard camera rather, of Motor City. Excuse the choppy camera work. Now we have Motor City hitting up the tires, locking up there slightly, and we will watch him as he takes us on a guide around the circuit. Yeah, going through the last turn, building up that speed. That top end is crucial toward the end. As we go on to start-finish straight, those are 2 small quinks, and as we go to turn 1, high speed, really high speed, full to the floor, and it goes below the white line. That's going to cause some controversy. onto now to the hairpin. Motor City chooses a more narrow line than most other drivers. That's interesting. Onto turn 3 here. Another hairpin. This is deceivingly. It's a wide entry and it's a really tiny exit, narrow exit. So you have to be precise on the throttle there. And these cars have rather unpredictable turbos. Honda's especially struggling with the turbos. So this could be interesting. And he locks up yet again. He's going to take some time out of turn 5. He's going to turn 6, the last turn. Let's see what top speed he reaches. And he's doing 252. He hits 270 kilometers an hour. 280 nearly. And Aguilera puts it on temporary pole position, but Alan Cavey has just bested Aguilera with a 108.8. Current best of the session. Let's look at some other drivers here who are looking to get some points. Motor City spins. Motor City spins. And Car Mentalist puts it on temporary pole position here in a 104.4. That's a good lap from Car Mentalist there. Current points leader in the Menards livery, number 22 Chevrolet. But close behind, 400s away, is his teammate in the Pensoil livery with a 104.8. Packer, sorry, Iro Packer, slightly further behind, and then you have Flaky, who has decided to enter. He did enter in the Indy 250 and is running in a usually low rear end here, as we can see. Maybe he's trying to get that straight line speed. Alan Cavey improves, but not enough to get P5, who's currently held by Aguilera. Ben Gallagher here, last turn. Will we see a hot lap from him? He has proven himself to be mighty quick in qualifying. And it's an out lap, it's not a time lap. But we watch all cameras now. And Iro! It's that Iro Damon puts it on pole by half a second. That's impressive. Again, we go on board with Ben Gallagher here in the number 8 Gallagher car. Getting slightly high on the revs there. A bit too far off the apex, but it's still working for him. It's still working. So approaches the last proper turn. Good line there. He has quite high gearing on that first gear. That's probably going to cost him on that exit. But then again, he does get it back in from a straight line speed. Which, let's have a look. It's in 5th gear and doing 280. So Ben Gallagher here running shockingly low wins and puts it, a 10th ahead of Car Mentalist onto P2. Pat Damon still has that iron grip on pole with Packer in this with the same setup as far as I know. Slightly behind. Car Mentalist then. Does not improve. Damon with the Fernando Alonso strategy of heating up tires. And it sounds like there's quite a lot of traffic ahead of him at least. Yeah, you can see there a scouting car. Scouting Honda, I believe. No, it's the ABC Chevrolet. And Damon reaching 300 kilometers an hour. Straight line, that's the highest we've seen yet. Now, this track does tear heavily on two things, fuel and tires. Not so much as the other tracks, but it's still quite considerable here, especially with the rear tires, since the only acceleration zones you have are heavy, and most of them are in whilst turning. So the rear tires will take a heavy beating, and the infield is also unbanked, and with the low wings run, it will probably also see a ton of front tire wear. So tires will be critical on this track. The push to pass does also burn 1 more liter a lap, I believe, but these drivers are probably going to try to manage it as best as they can. And Damon, a 10th of pole now. No, Commentless, sorry. Commentless takes pole in the number 22. That's Damon here in the number 3 Pennzoil. He goes for it. Turn 1. High average speed there. Very high average speed. He is on it like a cub on it. Taking the wider line. Heavy entry there. Braking late. Slightly off apex. But then again, keeping the engine going is very crucial in these cars. And it sounded like he had the engine running smoothly. Exiting turn 3. Through the chicanes. Smooth as ever. And he goes a little bit too fast in there. Slides the front tyres, and that's probably a 10th and a half gone. Damn there. Oh, tight apex, using a bit of the grass as well. Good exit as well. And he goes for it now. Has he improved? This will be his last qualifying run on this set. And Damon does not improve, and he resets back to the pits. So we have the current order with 6.5 minutes remaining. Commentless, Iro Damon, Ben Gallagher, who's just come across the line, and Ben Gallagher sets it on pole by 78,000. So that means that's Ben Gallagher on pole, Commentless on P2, Damon on P3. That rounds out the podium. Packer in the P4, slightly distance off his Iro teammate. Emmanuel in P5, Aglater in P6, running out here. Flaky in P7, Allen in a P8. Motor City spinning across the track to P9. Matt yet to set a lap time, and racing at home is not racing. Let's watch Iro Damon. Sat on pole for a short while. And he's doing the Fernando Alonso strategy here. But Ben Gallagher there coming out of nowhere to set a pole. So, Ben Gallagher, provisional pole position. Will this carry on over to the race start? We have seen that the track has improved very heavily in the space of only 10 minutes. So we will probably see a few last ditch runs here. Keep in mind they only have enough time for 1 or 2 sets. As Iro Damon here goes out onto his final lap. He climbs up high to get that extra speed. That may not be the smartest thing to do in the middle of the corner. And Iro Damon starts his lap. As we go on board with Iro Damon. Keeping flat through turn 1 there. It's very easy in these road course setups. And he goes heavy into turn 2. Heavy into turn 2. Slightly wide on exit, but that doesn't discourage him. Again, really heavy on the steering and the front tyres. And it doesn't use all of the exit road there. That's not great. He's still quick though. He's still quick. And Damon does not lock up. That's good. Kept a good downward speed through that corner. Stable car, early on throttle. Using all of the entry road there, missing the apex slightly. And it gets a little bit oversteer on the exit, but keeps it together. As he goes to set a lap, does he improve? He does not improve. So still Commentless on Ben Gallagher on pole. Commentless is on lap as well. So is Ben Gallagher. This is getting exciting here. And Commentless runs by. That's the end of this run. Ben Gallagher doing an out lap by the sound of things. Oh, he's run out of fuel. He's doing an out lap. And Motor City here in P10. So that means that a driver has set a lap time. That looks like Matt's has set a lap time. Aglater in P6. And Ben Gallagher, they're getting slightly hindered by Aglater, but it does get the slipstream, and that slipstream is valuable as ever. The TTGG member getting overtaken by Ben Gallagher in qualifying, giving him the slipstream, and Ben Gallagher does not improve. But will he go for it? Yes, he was on an out lap, so he will go for it this lap. Now the rear car, the car behind did complete the circle slider, so we'll have a slightly higher top speed through that bank turn. Braking hard. Oh, he's offline. He missed the apex there by about a car width, but it still works. And uses the grass there on entry. That's brave. That is brave indeed. Now, of course, in normal GT cars, the suspension is rather soft in this game, so you do get away with using the grass, but in these IndyCars, the suspension is far stiffer, and any use of the grass can lead to a spin. Yes, as Ben Gallagher proves there. Going for it a bit too hard, and that's 4 flat spots on all tyres. And that's the end of his run, but it does try to go for another one. Carmentless there, warming up his tyres. It's getting heavy pole. Packer has improved, but Emmanuel is close behind. Not far off actually, but only 21 thousandths off. Quite a gap down to Matt. And then Aglate in P7. So there has been a shake-up here. Packer, Emmanuel, Carmentless, Ben Gallagher. Aglate drops position, overtaken by Matt. Flaky now in P8, looking to improve that position. Alan Cavey in the pits now, happy with his P9. And then Motor City here, who's had quite a bit of trouble in qualifying. It's on the P10, but he believes he can improve. And he actually does so. 3.681 off pole, and that puts him 2.5 tenths off. P9 man, Alan Cavey. Ben Gallagher here going for his last set, but Carmentless is on a lap. And I hear traffic. I fear traffic for Carmentless there. Will he get a clean run? So see the car there, it's the Honda by the looks of things. Now this may get tricky for him. He will be hoping that that Honda keeps up the pace on Roca so it doesn't get that dirty air. But close enough, just close enough to get the slipstream on the exit. Yeah. With less than a minute remaining in qualifying, this will be the last lap that he does it. He has fuel for one more lap. With that ABC, that's Motor City, 2000 ahead of him. He uses that slipstream to good effect. Number 41 there, and he takes the outside line. And he improves to 103.6. So he's a 10th now ahead of Ben Gallagher. Helped by that slipstream from Motor City. That puts him on pole, provisional pole position with 1 minute remaining. And this is the last lap Ben Gallagher has to go for it, and he cuts quite a bit of that chicane. These drivers running vastly different setups. Some aiming for that top speed, while others are aiming to gain in the infield, and Ben Gallagher has decided, cut it too much, got to slow down. That's it for Ben Gallagher here. Iro Damon coming across the line. And he jumps around and he's done. He does not improve. Manuel P5. Matt P6. Oh, sorry, let's do the full order here. So, Carmentless P1. Ben Gallagher P2. Damon P3. Packer P4. Manuel P5. Matt P6. Aglated P7. Flaky P8. Alan Cavey P9. Motor City P10. And Racing Home is not racing. We see here 2 drivers who made their first appearance at the Indy 250 here, Alan Cavey and Flaky, making another appearance with on the road cars, and we see the splits here. Carmentless drops 4 tenths in the first sector, so that means that he's running far higher wings, but he does gain that back in the middle sector, and with that slipstream, he does get ahead. So, will we see another interesting strategy from Ben Gallagher to try to get the win here, or will we see Carmentless run away with it? We may not know. The gap between P1 to P3 is 3 tenths, so the podium. Everyone inside the top 3 have a reasonable chance of getting the getting the win. And the scraps will continue further down the field, though the gaps are slightly bigger. In the races, the tyre wear will equal these gaps, and the person who may not be the fastest, but the one that's able to manage the tyres, will most likely shoot up the order. So let's go here. This will be a 45-minute race. There will be a manual formation lap, and we will see some exciting stuff. A manual formation lap, of course, onto a start. I think it's a 1x1 or side by side, so the drivers will have some spread between them, and they will go for it. We have quite a few cars there with a reasonable chance of getting pole. Let's go on board. Let's look in the cockpits. No, sorry, roofs. Commentless here. Man on pole. Motor City here. The one aiming to get those positions in P10. Alan P9. Aglated P8. Sorry. Flaky P7 in the High Rocks car. Matt P6. Manuel P5. Packer P4. And then we have the podium and the people on the podium for qualifying. R.O. Damon P3, Bengaliga P2, and Commentless P1. As the drivers there have loaded up the race setup soon. So no drivers have started the times yet. That was stupid of me. And Flaky has seemingly also been active on Twitter during the race as they now go on to the formation lap here. Now it's a manual start, it's critical to not stall it. I do believe this is not the actual race start, though it does look like it, and I'm sorry for making the mistake. Ben Gallagher grabs pole. No, grabs P1, and they're fighting further back, and there's a car jumping up and down side to side. Manuel up to P4, P3 for Emmanuel as they go into turn 1. 4 wide, a car in the barrier there. Emmanuel from P5 to P2. Oh dearie me, Ben Gallagher went from second to first to now third, fighting with Emmanuel here. If Carmental is running away with it now. Emmanuel pole, and Ben Gallagher spins out of the chicane. Critical. Ben Gallagher spins out of the chicane as the field starts to stabilise again, with drivers now falling in line. Motor City from P10 to P6. Alan KV up a position. Aglater down 2 positions. Packer, who was in the wall, I believe, and Ben Gallagher, who spun, have lost all that ground. I have a lot to make up now. With now Flaky approaching Matt, I believe. Yes, approaching Matt, looking for that move on the straight line speed, with the straight line speed here. Flaky just doesn't have the gearing to get for it, but he will sit tightly in the slipstream here. The cars lose a lot of speed on that banking, so he will get a chance. And there's a car in the wall. That's Emmanuel. Emmanuel's in the wall. That's not good, and he's lost a wheel. That may be the end of his race. And Agulated there, hitting Emmanuel, sadly. There was some contact there. And there's been a big gap now with Carmentless, with Matt 5 seconds behind. So there has been contact here from somewhere. Motor City up P6 positions here from the start. Flaky in the podium. And Alan spins out of chicane. That's the second driver to do so. At that exact point, this looks like it will be a challenge for driver. Ben Gallagher now moving up again, but Motor City here wanting to make a move on Flaky. He did out qualify, and Flaky runs wide. Flaky does run wide. That will be crucial. Motor City here approaching on the straight line. Flaky knows that he's a sitting duck. He can't do much. And Packer overtakes Emmanuel, who's with 1 wheel, I believe. No, Damon is also with a 1 wheel, so there was some contact between Emmanuel and Emmanuel. Or Damon and Emmanuel. And there's the full course yellow, safety car. So that means that 5 second lead that Carmental has managed to build up in a matter of a few laps has been negated successfully. And we have a racing to the lime system, I believe. That means that it will be crucial. So we see the field stabilizing, catchment gap. This may be a 2-lap safety car as Emmanuel and Damon scrabble along into the pits. The engines will most likely be damaged from all of this work. Damon without his right front, Emmanuel without his front left, so it's probably wheel banging there. As both drivers enter the pits. Car weaving back and forth. Car Mentalist though doesn't need heat in his tyres. He is Kimi Räikkönen and Ben Gallagher there, slowing down unusually much. Now the field is way tighter. Flaky, man on the move up to P3. So is Motor City's qualified P10 and is now up to P4. And Matt goes into the pits. Matt goes into the pits. Matt is into the pits. That may be, and Alan as well. This may be a huge brain move. If they are able to fuel the car to go all the way to the end, they will save all the time in the pit stop phase there, because pit stop is roughly 30 seconds. If they pit now and they just, let's say they have to do fuel saving so they lose 15 seconds of race time, they will still be ahead if they manage to keep the pace up. But then again, they will have more worn tyres towards the end as well. Will they come out ahead of Emmanuel and Damon though? Alan out, Matt out, Emmanuel and Damon still in pits to get those repairs. Now the drivers are starting to get anxious there. Matt coming out of the pits is going to make a run for it to catch back up to the pack. So will Alan. With Flaky now up to P2. He has had an unbelievable start of this race with two of the drivers on the P8 and P10 now up to P2 and P3. This is a hard situation here. These drivers have just absolutely nailed it on the first lap, kept clean, gotten those moves done, and has gotten up to the podium positions with Car Mentalist. The only one in the starting top 5, I believe. No, the only one in starting in the top 3 is still in his original position and still in the podium spots. But as we've seen here, Packer did qualify both Motor City and Flake quite well. This is very interesting as we probably start racing here now. Alan's still trying to catch back up to the pack, so will Emmanuel and Damon. They are pushing hard. Now, will they go now? That is the question. We don't know how long this safety car lasts. They do not go this lap, so that means they have one more lap at least. And Damon's in the wall. No, he isn't. That was just his connection playing a bug on me, and that means that Emmanuel is closing up to the field. And yeah, he will be right on the tail. And Emmanuel unlaps himself as well. Fair game. That means Damon will as well. Let's hope there is no contact. Let's go with on board with Damon here, looking to unlap himself and catch that lap back up. With Alan and Matt, the only people to make a pit stop. And there's a slight pile up. No, sorry, queue. Now, Damon, be careful. Don't push these tires too much. We know you fixed damage, but and they keep the wide line there to let Damon pass. So the only two drivers there that are approaching, well, trying to get onto the same lap is Emmanuel and Damon, who, by the looks of things, will get away with that incident rather clean, well, rather cheaply, with Flaky and Motor City, two people benefiting the most. Interesting indeed. Now, comment list there. This might be the start. This looks like it will be the start. So the drivers will now heat up the tires with Emmanuel and Damon still trying to catch back up. Emmanuel is 23 seconds behind and Damon is 35. They will not be able to catch the queue, I believe, if they go this lap. 36 minutes, no, 37 Barely, not 37 minutes remaining. And that's racing at home, they're not racing. There's Honda there, overlooking the cuts. And car mentalist goes. And there's contact. Motor City has lost his right front wing. So that means that Flaky probably has a bit of damage. But will he be able to keep it? Motor City there falls down the other. He's lost all of that downforce, and along with that goes the front wing. So, and Packer goes for the outside move, really liberal, and he's off. Packer is off. So that means Matt is back up to the podium. Matt, the man who made the pit stop, is on the podium. Flaky P2 runs slightly wide. Or slightly, massively wide. And there's contact again between Matt and Flaky. Flaky down to P3. Did not lose part of his front wing. That's critical. That is critical. But Alan not to P4. So the two people who made pit stops, who are off cycle right now. And there's contact in the background there as Packer spins off. After a difficult start, he spins off, and Motor City up to P7. Agulator, oh, Motor City needs to pit now, he's lost his entire front wing. Agulator up to P6. Bengalga falling down to P5. Alan Cavey and Matt are up to P2 and 4. Flaky, who qualified P8, is in the podium. With Iro Damon, Iro Packer, and Manuel running off the backfield figure. This could not be predicted. And yeah, Motor City into the pits with a no front wing. That was hopeless. So it looks like that's another safety car. That's another safety car. That means that, oh, this will be difficult for car mentalist here. Does he give up that P1 in order to get that pit stop done and get on cycle with Matt and Alan, or does he keep it in? Because the two drivers who might make it to the end here. No, sorry. Alan and Matt either pitted for repairs or new tires. So everyone is on cycle with fuel, except from Motor City, who puts on a bit of fuel there. So that will be interesting here. So everyone's on cycle with fuel, but looks like Comment is on the reds there. Looks like everyone is on the reds. Yes, everyone is on the reds, possibly. I do believe everyone's on the red tires. Yeah, everyone is on the red tires. That's the quickest but softest tire, so those wear quite quickly. So Matt and Alan Cavey have slightly fresher tires. 5 laps? No, sorry. 7-8 minutes fresher tires. Whereas car mentalist has started on these tires, did burn them out on the first lap. So that may mean that he's struggling with the rear tire. And will they go into the pits? Will they start? And car mentalist and Matt goes into the pits for a second time with Alan again. Are they pitting for rest? And that's Ben Gallang as well. So there's, it looks like there's a 2-stop or even 3-stop strategy here. We've now 4 drivers in the pits. Matt, Alan, Ben, and Emmanuel are all into the pits. Motor City trying to climb back up. So this will be annoying to say the least, because I believe these cars can drive for 30 minutes with the fuel. Yeah, everyone takes on fuel. Everyone takes on fuel. That will be excruciating for car mentalists and Flaky, who they are not on cycle on fuel. They need to make another pit stop, whereas Alan, Matt, Ben, and Emmanuel can all, I believe they can barely go to the end on this set of tires. So yeah, if we assume that these cars can hold a maximum of 70 liters and they've already used up 15 in a space of, let's say, 13 minutes. It's 15 in 30 minutes, that means 13, yeah, okay, so what's 45 over 13? Is that, and 15 times 3.46 is 51.9. So in theory, if they keep the same consumption, which we have had 2 safety cars here, means that they can go, but at most we are lapping at around, on race pace we're lapping around 70 second laps. And if we take 30 minutes, which is 1,800 divided by 70, that's 25 laps. They can't go to the end. They can't go to the end because these drivers, or these cars, can maximum do when pushing 20 laps on full fuel. Now, Alan, Ben, and Emmanuel can do some fuel saving, which is really efficient. Let's say it like that. It's another driver in the pits. It's Motor City again into the pits. Did he get another piece of damage? We may never know. So in theory, everyone needs to do stop, but everyone apart from P6 down can also in theory save enough fuel to get to the end. So we have drivers here who need to save a lot of fuel, and we also have drivers here who need to push like hell and hope for another safety car where they have to dive in. And if they do decide to dive in, then Alan, Ben and Emmanuel can dive in with them, and they don't need to change tyres or fuel, or they can just add on a splash of fuel. That means they do emerge ahead of them because their pitch is so much shorter. Right, so warming up the tyres. See the heavier fuel load, with Matt actually burning quite a lot more than the rest of the field. Emmanuel locking up a slight bit. You can also look at the differentiating helmets, which are rather similar. They changed based on the team, I believe. And Motor City has caught back up to the rear of the field. That means they will go this lap. So comment list. He has to make another fuel. This must be worrying the comment list here. He has to make another stop, while some drivers behind him can in theory go to the end of the race without pitting. So this will be interesting here. And he has also used a push to pass. Indeed, the only one in the top 3 has not used push pass is Aglater. So as we go to green here, comment list starting P1. We're heating up his tires, and he goes for it. Comment list goes for it. And the drives are sliding back into the spots with Iro, Pakia and Flaky battling again. Last time these two had contact, and Iro Damon coming out of nowhere, dive bomb, and does he make the corner? Barely makes it, goes wide, hits the cones, that probably some front wing damage, and the teammates hit. The teammates do hit, with several drivers trying to, as close as they can. Ben Gallagher trying to sneak a position, and Ben Gallagher's off. Ben Gallagher's been knocked off, with Pakia, I believe, as well, knocked off. Aglater P5 there, with Alan P6. Emmanuel off. Motor City again losing his front wing. Pakia losing his entire rear wing. And Ben Gallagher there without his left front wing, so that is another pit stop. Now, is that a race to the line safety car, or is it another clean race? Oh, are they going to go ahead? Now this will play into the hands of Carmentless here if he does decide to pit. Which he... Yeah, it's a safety car situation here, as to be expected. So a ton of drivers that did not make the stop properly, with Emmanuel going off, Motor City losing his front wing, Ben Gallagher losing his left front wing, and Packer losing his entire rear wing. There wasn't contact between Ben Gallagher there and Damon. Also, Packer. With Flaky still in P2. Deary me. Flaky there, putting on absolute stonks of starts. Just keeping it clean and doing the work that he needs to do. And so Packer still the Packer. Motor City is not into the pits. That's strange. Ben Gallagher's not into the pits. Strange, to say the least. But oh well, maybe they're trying to outcycle Damon. No, Packer. So comment list, the only person who started in the top 3 and still in the top 3, or I believe actually that Damon also started in the top 3. Yes, he started P3. With Flaky there, starting from P8 up to P2. Matt in P4. Aglater to P5. Alan P6 does improve by 1 or 2 positions. Emmanuel there P7, he did drop 2 positions. Motor City P8 has jumped 2 positions but lacks that front wing. Ben Gallagher without the left side of his front wing. If he does not get that fixed, that may be crucial for him. He needs to pit for that front wing. That's not going to end well if he doesn't. But do we go green now? We may know soon. Looks like the drivers are not heating up the tires. Commentless is keeping a steady pace, and Commentless into the pits. The leader is into the pits with Flaky, and with Alan. Does he go into the pits? So we have Matt here on the lead lap. Is Alan? Alan's into. Everyone is into the pits apart from Packer, who's not on cycle. Damon and Matt, the only ones deciding to stay out. This will be interesting. So these two. Oh, Damon has to make another stop, whereas Matt believes he can make it on this fuel. Alan taking tires and fuel. Oh, sorry, it does not take fuel. Oh, yes, it does. So emerging first and out of the pits is Emmanuel. He did not take on fuel. Second is Commentless, did take on fuel. Third is Flaky. Packy there, actually unlapping, getting ahead of the entire field. So he's now P4. Actually, the only person who was not able to pass was Emmanuel. So Emmanuel, although risking it on the fuel, has managed that to perfection. So Damon now probably thinking about his decisions there. Didn't have contact earlier on. And indeed, this will be difficult. Very few drivers there have made it clean throughout. And only Carl Mentless and Flaky have not had major contact, I believe. Oh, sorry. Have had major trouble. Major trouble. The drivers now catching back up to the queue. It's a go time on this lap. I do believe it isn't, with drivers now pushing to get into the queue. With Motor City the first behind. Does he have his front wing attached now? Yes, it does. Let's do a quick lineup. Yeah, he does not go. Let's do a quick lineup here again. So it's Damon, Matt, Manuel, Commentless down to P4 after that pit stop. Flaky in P5, Alan Cave in P6, Aglet to P7, Packy P8, Bengaga P9, and Motor City P10. So, Damien is not on cycle with fuel. He has to do another stop, I believe. Whereas Matt may be able to save enough. Emmanuel is also on the risky side there, with Flaky, and Alan, Aglet, Packer, and Motor City the only one safe on fuel. Bengaga taking slightly less than the else. This is interesting indeed. So now the drivers are all lined up, ready to do the start. Damien controlling the field. With Motor City the only driver with the penalty of a 20-second penalty. That's probably for speeding in the pit lane. Matt here, the only driver. Oh, sorry, Commentless said the only first driver with net P1 after pit stops. And Damon goes for it after brake checking Matt. And Commentless, they're already on the manual, going up the inside. And as we go through the turn 2, Commentless up to P4. With several drivers lining on up. There's Matt going for a move. No, Commentless, sorry, and he gets bumped by Emmanuel. Commentless on the outside there, keeps it clean, just about. Ben Gallagher side by side with Flaky. Flaky drops down a few positions there. Motor City jumps up with Packer, Allen, and Aglated there going slowly, losing his left part of his front wing. Yeah, so that means that we have a strictly varying field to say this. Flaky dropping a few positions, and that's Motor City going down the inside. So Motor City is on it still. Now the drivers emerge onto the pit straight, and that's side by side between Emmanuel and Ben Gallagher. These two have been fighting. Ben Gallagher here with the slipstream, so you will sit in that slipstream nice and TD, and Emmanuel trying to get slipstream off him as well. So long slipstream. These drivers will be hitting their red line now. And who will we see emerge? Ben Gallagher using his first pusher pass there. And that looks like it's close. And further behind, Motor City trying to defend, and that's two drivers up inside, still in P6 is GM Flaky, and Motor City inside of Pacquiao and inside of Flaky as well. Oh, Motor City on the move. Let's go. Now further up the field, Emmanuel looking, but not able to make a move onto Ben Gallagher, who got ahead. Flaky trying, and that's a spinner. That's Pacquiao spinning. That promotes Alan up to PA, and Aglaters into the pits. He lost his front wing. So now the positions have stabilized slightly, not too much, as Ben Gallagher loses the position to Emmanuel. He ran wide, I believe. And here they go, across the line. Ben Gallagher, and goes up to the outside. That's an interesting choice. Emmanuel comes in up, and he tries to cut back, I believe. Tries to cut back, and there's a car involved. There's a car massively involved. That's Agulator. He loses his front wing, and Ben Gallagher absolute stonks on the outside. Tries to go for it, keeps it on the outside, squeeze all the way down, but still able to get the move done on Emmanuel. And Emmanuel spins, but keeps it together, does not spin fully. Now with Motor City in pursuit, with Flaky dropping down 2 positions, and Alan there trying to get back after Flaky. It's really interesting as Ben Gallagher now approaching up to Matt. Ben Gallagher's been on the move recently. He did not take as much fuel, and he has fresh tyres. Now the pit straight. Will we see Ben Gallagher here? He's sitting in the slipstream nice and neat and tidy, trying to make a move. And Ben Gallagher going to the outside again. Same move as he did with Emmanuel. We'll be able to get on the outside. He uses 2 pusher passes in the space of 2 laps. Go around the outside, brave on the brakes, and gets the move done. Matt not even able to fight back with now Flaky, and Alan takes Flaky. So that means that Flaky has dropped another position down to P8. He went from P8 to P2 and now back down. With Alan now, the man on the move. And that's Motor City spinning. And does he hit anyone? Was that contact? Yes, that was contact between Flaky and Motor City, but I believe they got away unscathed. So now, Matt dropping behind, but Ben Gallagher, the man on the move, using all of his push to passes as quick as possible. He's probably expecting another safety car, probably depending on as well, with Aglater in the pits yet again. Flaky in P7 now, but Ben Gallagher here. Damon has opened up a 2-second lead, a 3-second lead. Ben Gallagher goes another time to the outside here. He's loving that move, he's loving that line. He is the bravest on the brakes there. And he looks to the outside, looks to the inside now. And he goes up the inside. Does Carmentless hold it around the outside? No, he does not. And does Ben Gallagher covering off? No, he's not far enough ahead. He's going to need to hold it around the outside here to get up to the chicanes, but he does have the inside on for the first chicane, or first part of the chicane. And he gets ahead cleanly. So that means that Ben Gallagher's up to P2. Storming start from him, and he locks up badly. That's going to allow Carmentless to catch right back up. Now with Alan KV also closing in. So let's look at Carmentless there with Matt. Matt actually closing back up again. And Emmanuel also closing up this seating up with Damon. Damon now running clear. This is the current points leader, looking to get as far away from racing at home as possible, where a race where he does not start. And Alan Cavey fighting with Flaky. Alan Cavey all the way to the outside. Does get the move done. Flaky does not have the straight line speed that Alan does. And that's P6. That's net P6 as well. That's going to be difficult for Flaky to overtake, but he does run way more wing, and he closes right back up. Oh dear me, with Packy now closing back up to them as well. Flaky round the outside, does not get the move done. He's just looking for that exit. He's looking for a point where Alan Cavey is not ready for it. These drivers have improved by one or two positions both. Does not get the move. That's going to put him far enough behind not to be overtaken. Not having an opportunity to overtake, sorry. But Iro Packy now has had a difficult race. Did qualify well, qualified P4 I believe, but has not been able to stitch it up. Has had incidents in the race. Let's have a look here. Trying to close back up to Alan and Flaky. Flaky now, sorry, he was just not in the slipstream, was not able to catch back up, and now they get really close. And Flaky moving left and right, trying to keep. Oh, and that's too late. Oh, barely stops it in time. Barely stops it in time. And now Alan gets a bad exit. Alan gets a bad exit, and that's, oh dear me, and that's Packy hitting the back of Flaky. Braked harder than expected, and that's going to be front end damage for Packy. So we have 15 minutes remaining now. 2/3 of the race distance done. Emmanuel looking feisty all over the rear of Matt here. Goes to the outside. He's looking racy. Now he does have more power now on the outside because his engine is on the high revs, but it does drop down, and Emmanuel gets past before the turn, but we have seen drivers being able to fight back up into turn 2 here. And Matt goes for the inside line. Does not brake late enough. Emmanuel though breaks extremely late, runs wide. Now Matt has a chance to close back up, and we have another fight here between Packer and Alan. And Alan on the inside, Packer on the outside. And Packer breaks the latest, and he gets the turn done as well. That's a P6 for him. With Matt now falling behind Emmanuel. And Alan locking up. Aglater ahead, trying to unlap himself as well. This is going to get interesting in the future. But now, as they head onto the straight here, Matt going to try to make a move. And beg Aglater's off. But Matt here is going to try to make a move. He has dropped 8 tenths behind. So that is slightly worrying for him. He just keeps pushing here. And also close is Carl Mentlis here. Going for a move on Ben Gallagher. Ben Gallagher runs wide and he hits the barrier. Ben Gallagher is in the barrier. That's probably going to be some front end damage for him. So, yeah, he's lost his front right wing. So that means he has stormed, absolutely stormed from further back on the first laps. He's now fallen back to behind, and now comes 2 very hungry drivers, Emmanuel and Matt. Close behind. Now, Ben Gallagher has no downforce, he moves out of the way accordingly. Can't keep up with these cars. Simply has to get off the racing line by the looks of things. Does not try to defend. Still tries to go as fast as possible, but there's not a lot to catch. Now, Matt here, probably furious inside his cockpit because he wasn't let past immediately. But that's racing, and Packer locks up massively as well. So Damien has to make another pit stop. That's crucial. With Carmentless possibly be able to make it to the end with P2. Emmanuel also on the edge there in P3. Matt there in P4. He can make it to, no, it's in the same boat with Emmanuel, maybe. And Gallagher in his pits for probably his last time after that mistake and contact with the wall. The 12 minutes remaining now. Drivers have spaced on out again. So Damon, coming from a seemingly innocent start here, P3, fell back down, and that's fought his way back up. with 7 push to passes remaining, but he has to make another pit stop. These cars use cars use a lot of fuel, and by the looks of things, it won't be another safety car. So in the net lead now is Car Mentalist, and yeah, Damon here trying desperately to save as much fuel as he can. But I don't know. I am pretty sure his car will not make it to the end if he does not start some insane lift and coasting technique. Actually, most drivers are saving apart from Car Mentalist with enough fuel to make it to the end. Whereas Emmanuel is also saving, sitting in a slipstream and saving. So, according to my maths, he was around about 0.7 of a litre a lap, and there's let's say that's 10 minutes when he crosses the line. That's 8.5 laps. Times 0.7. No. Oh, sorry. He does not have enough fuel. I don't think he has enough fuel. We see him also getting caught right back up, losing 6 times that last lap. He's bad. He's not using the throttle at all. He's on the lowest engine mode. Bengal there exiting pits. There's 10 litres remaining and more than 10 minutes remaining. Can he manage to get the fuel down to a litre a minute? It's going to be difficult. I don't believe that's possible. You need to save more fuel, Damon. You need to slipstream off everything you can. Lift and coast, lift and coast. Car Mentalist being able to push away. He lost 1.3 seconds in that lap, and I don't think, no, he does not have the fuel to finish yet. Lowest engine mode won't do it. He has to do more than that. Now also Car Mentalist is free to push as hard as he can. He does not have any problem with the fuel, but still kicks it into a low engine mode for an unknown reason. Now will he head onto the pits this lap? He will cycle behind Flaky, but not far behind Flaky. Does not head into the pits. How long did it take him to lap this time? 1:07.4, whereas Car Mentalist wraps at a 1:07.0, so that's 4/10 gain. That just won't add up. He needs more fuel. Oh dear me. Does Emmanuel have enough fuel though? He went fastest last time round. But yeah, he's also on the edge there with fuel. He might make it. Whereas Damon, Emmanuel has 3 times the fuel, and I think Emmanuel might make it. Whereas Damon is a lost cause by the looks of things. So Car Mentalist is just saving fuel, saving tyres. I think he's allowing Emmanuel to get into the dirty air just so he can wear out his tyres. And then trying to run away on the straights. He has to piss this lap. It's either this lap or next lap. He doesn't have any other choice. It's simple, really. Does he enter the pits? No, he does not. So one more lap for Damon before he heads into the pits, or else he's going to run out of fuel. Can't possibly believe he's going to run for 8 minutes with 4 litres. Then he's going to need to coast the entire way. Running a 1:08.1 there, half a second off the other drivers with Emmanuel. Still the fastest car on the grid. Actually no, sorry, Matt is the fastest car on the grid. With Bengal there trying to unlap himself. Will he let him pass? No, he will not. Okay, so the strategy here continues. So let's watch Matt here for a short second. Will Bengal try to make a move here? No, he does not. He brakes early there to make sure that there's no contact. And Matt runs wide, and that allows Bengal, and there's contact. But it looks like both drivers came out okay. Yeah. And Matt gets past again. But Damon here needing to run down into the pits. This is not great for him. And he slows on down. That leaves Car Mentalist. Starts from P1, still in P1. Emmanuel here, the surprise, coming from the midfield up to P2. Now Manuel here, we can see, is the fastest car on the track, but he does barely have enough fuel. Commentless, you don't need to save any more fuel. You can turn up that engine mode all the way if you like, and he has. He has turned it up to medium, whereas... Let's look at what engine mode Manuel is running. And Manuel is running low, yeah. So this will be interesting. Damon's still in the pits. I believe he will merge in front of Motor City. And the manual goes off. That may be the when sealed. Yeah, alright, Damon cycles back onto P7. 10 seconds behind Flecky. But that looks like, with that Emmanuel going off there, having to run the lowest engine mode, Carmetlis can calm down again. He does not need to push. He knows he has this in the bag. He has enough fuel, more than enough fuel. Emmanuel is still struggling with fuel. And it looks like it'll be a clean run to the line. So let's look at the fastest laps there. So we have 106.1 from Carmetlis, so 105.5 from Emmanuel, 105.6 from Damon, and Ben Gallagher with 105.2. So currently Ben Gallagher with the fastest lap, but he did have that contact with the wall. That's going to upset him. He looked very good for the race win, but wasn't able to do so. And Carmetlis there revving up his engine. Actually approaching back Marcus as well. I can hear the back Marcus in the background. Going on to lap 30 here. With 4.5 minutes remaining. It looks set for a solid win here. 20 litres remaining as well. He can consume about 1.7 litres a minute, and that's good. With Emmanuel there getting lapped, or lapping Alan KV. Alan up to P5. No, Alan is actually unlapping himself. No, sorry, was that Alan? Oh, he wasn't. He wasn't then. Blue NTT car. That may have been Ben Gallagher. Yes, it was Ben Gallagher, sorry. I just saw the blue, not the white. So yeah, there goes Manuel there, dropping behind. He's just sitting his loose from here, trying to save as much fuel as he can. I believe he can barely make it if he lifts and coasts a bit, whereas Carmetlis is for sure going to make it. So managing the fuel here has proved crucial, as predicted. I predicted also that the tyres will be more crucial, but the looks of things it wasn't as crucial. And now Gallagher taking the position up to P8. Sorry about the noise that. And that means that Ben Gallagher is up to P8 with Motor City losing that position. That's the number 22 of, I believe that's Dave. No, sorry, it must be Packer. It was Carmetlis. So Ben Gallagher here approaching to unlap himself actually. Now there's 4 litres remaining. That's 1 lap. Emmanuel has to go for another pit stop. That means Matt is... Oh, also Matt is close on fuel. Pack is more alright, but Alan might actually snatch a podium here. So, what does Emmanuel decide to do? Does he risk it? No, there's no way he can make it out on fuel. That would be the most impressive fuel-saving drive ever. Just shifting early, using like 75. Yeah, he goes into the pits. That puts Matt up to P3. But does he have enough fuel as well? Oh dear me. Packer has made it on fuel for sure. But if Matt has to pit another time for fuel, that's going to be crucial with Emmanuel, the big loser here. Oh dear me. Alan, will he get ahead of Emmanuel? Yes, he will. So what will Matt do? What will Matt do? No, there's no way. There is no way. He has to pit for fuel, or else he'll run out of fuel. He ran a 1:10 last lap. He needs to... you can't save that much fuel because there's 2 laps remaining, and a lap here is 4 liters. That does not add up unless you can half his fuel consumption, in which case his lap times will be far more than 1/10. Then that's going to be difficult for him. Flaky up to P5, Alan up to P4. Oh dear, this is getting close. This is getting too close for comfort here for many drivers. Does he go into the pits? Or does he risk it? Commentless there, he still has 1 more lap left. And he risks it. He risks it for the chocolate biscuit. But here comes Packer. And he's 5 seconds a lap quicker, passing Motor City there, lapping him. He is using all the fuel he wants. He knows. Does Matt push it? No, Matt. No. And Matt loses time yet again to fuel. So will Alan Cavey be able to catch back up? He's pushing now as well, using the infield there to great use. Now, Matt, this is the second to last lap. You have to save more fuel. You don't have the fuel to go to the end. There's 1 liter remaining, and that's Alan. That's Alan approaching in an entity data. Keep in mind, Alan, last race he entered was a one-off, or was going to be a one-off. Flaky Perry being good enough in fuel. And looks like, yep, he's going to run out of fuel soon. Motor City there, trying to unlap himself, and that's a sorry sight to see with Commentless down his final lap. Alan Cavey approaching. Matt runs out of fuel. He needs to pit. Will he make it to the pits? And engine cuts out. And you need to jump onto the infield. And that means Alan is up to a P3. Holy moly macaroni. Alan Cavey, his only start this season was supposed to be a one-off. He starts P3 now with... Oh dear, Matt understandably dropping out and not being able to make it to the pit box. So Alan Cavey must be ecstatic now, knowing that he has made it onto the podium with a genius strategy. Commentless being the fastest guy on track with 22 seconds. But we see the driver difference there between all the people risking it on the fuel, not being able to make it to the end. That drops Emmanuel far behind, and that drops... Oh dear me, and that drops Matt out of the race. So now, Packer here will finish P2 after a difficult qualifying. He will have enough fuel to make it to the end, at least he can coast it to the end, unlike Matt. Oh dear me, that has to be so annoying for him. That has to be really annoying as well. Packer P2. Alan now for his maiden podium in IndyCar. Alan across the line. I'm sorry. This is just too awesome. Damon P4. This is the driver who qualified P3, I believe. Flaky running out of fuel on the last lap. Oh dear me. Ben Gallagher there, actually getting lapped, so Manuel also out of fuel. Hagelator, final guy. He's come across the line. So that leaves an interesting lineup after qualifying. As we end the stream here with Commentless winning the race, Packer and Alan on P2 and P respectively. Aro Damon in P4, Flaky in the P5 with a DNF because he ran out of fuel on the last lap, Lewis Hamilton style. Ben Gallagher P6, Emmanuel P7, Agalator P8, Motor City P9, Matt P10, and Racing at Home not road driving. And the fastest lap is a 105.222 by Ben Gallagher. That's it for me. It was an exciting race, a lot of strategy, especially on the fuel. Thanks for watching if you did. Bye.